All right. It's the 4th of July. So I had plans to go hang out with somebody today, but they canceled last minute. So instead, I've been optimizing my exercise routine and playing around with other projects. But yeah, I actually feel like I'm really impressed with how this exercise routine that I've been working on has worked for me. It's been a few days where I felt like this is definitely going to kill me. At the end of the day, not something really actually hurt me any, but I got a few days where I was so exhausted. Not even really exhausted, honestly. I was a little sore towards the end of the day. After 200 squats, you're going to feel it. But at the end of the day, I hit points where I'm sort of like, I don't want to ever do another squat again. And I think a lot of that is down to just the frequency at which I was doing them. Yesterday, technically, my goal was to do every hour, do 2 of every rep. But I'm like, 2 of every exercise every hour seems obnoxious. So I just condensed it down into 3 chunks during the day of 10. And one of the things that was interesting about that was these are exercise routines. Was it 10 or 12? These are exercise routines that I would not have been able to do that many reps in one go a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So I'm already seeing improvement of my capabilities. But beyond that, there's the additional aspect of the exercise routine where I woke up yesterday after the exercise that was 200 of every rep the day before. I woke up yesterday morning not sore. And I mean, I will still reach the end of the day and be mildly sore. I'll go to bed, I'll wake up, I won't be sore tomorrow. And to me, that's an amazing opportunity because it means that I can get more workout done in a day by spacing it right and not pushing myself past where my limits are. Now, in the course of an afternoon, if I were to do a half hour to an hour exercise routine, I would hit the end of what I'm able to do for something like push-ups at like 20 for the day. But if I do 5 push-ups every hour throughout the day, I'm hitting over 200 by the end of the day. So I can do far more work on strengthening and toning. Well, not toning. I don't care about toning. I don't care about weight loss. Those are not goals for me on this. This is more about increasing the ability of my body to perform functions that it is currently not up to it. It was before I started this, not up to achieving. And it's not that I've never been able to do them. It's that I've gotten over the last year too sedentary, or a year and a half, I would say. Part of that is down to the fact that when I traveled across the country, I would be sitting for 12 hours a day driving across the country, going from one place to another in some days. And you do that day after day after day. And I did it for about 6 months. Then I got back here and did a lot of work at a computer at a tabletop day in, day out, and then holed up for winter. So I didn't really go out and do anything. I did some shoveling of snow, but I don't know if that counts. And so I was really, really surprised when I hit on this idea of doing these fitness routines and started the first exercise day and found I could still do certain like household physical activity level stuff to a degree that I would say was healthy. It was just I hadn't realized until that point how I had so thoroughly neglected a lot of other things that I was thoroughly incapable of doing much of anything as an exercise routine. It was an embarrassing level of failure to try to do some stuff early on. And I'm getting to a point now where I don't know in one go that I'll be doing anything that seems impressive in one go, but I've had, at the end of this week, I will have had multiple days of doing more than 100 push-ups, more than 100 squats, more than 100 lunges in a day. So I've definitely upgraded my physical capabilities. So I'm relatively pleased with how that's working out. I've been working with the dietary changes that I was working on, and I'm sticking to the carbohydrate dominant dietary regime that I set up, except for the fact that I recently went to visit family, and we celebrated my birthday and an aunt's birthday, and so I had some fish. So that was a more of a high protein meal than I've had for the most part, and other than that, I've been pretty much carbohydrate focused diet. The caveat is most of the time I'm sticking to the same caloric content that I should on a daily basis. For the day of my birthday gathering and the 2 days subsequent to that, I have actually overdone my caloric intake of carbohydrate. So I don't know that that's 3 days of overindulging by a couple hundred calories. I don't know that's going to throw anything off to any substantial degree by the end of the 4 weeks, but I mean, I'll take it into consideration. If I gain weight, if I gain like 10 pounds, that's not going to be the cause of it. If I gain 2 pounds by the end of this month, some of it may be a consequence of that. And some of it may be just a consequence of what a carbohydrate diet does. So it can muddy the waters on some of the causes and effects of how that works. But 2 or 3 days out of 28 days, I have to figure that at least at some point during the month-long runs where I do a protein heavy or a keto diet, that I'm going to have at least 2 or 3 days in those months as well where I can skew off in a higher number of calories taken in a go. So I'm not gonna sweat it too much. Just something for me to keep in mind. I knew going into this wasn't scientific paper research quality. It is a curious experiment to see how my body functions under different dietary and fitness regimes. I don't know that I like the word regime on that score, but it is working for what I'm using it for. So that's sort of I'm sort of hopeful for the end of this week, because as much as I'm interested in and fascinated in the fitness and dietary changes, The dietary changes I can just kind of move off to the side, and like that only happens at meals. But the exercise routine that I'm doing, it's very time consuming. I mean, all in all, it's 5 minutes at a time every hour or half hour. Like today's a half hour day. And so at first, that doesn't seem like a whole lot, because 5 minutes times what, a 16-hour day, double the 16 hours, 38 ish, something in that range. It doesn't seem like a lot. But your end result is two to 2.5 hours of exercise. That still doesn't seem like a lot. It's still a fair amount of time to spend doing a routine. But the thing that really gets you is every hour or every half hour, you stop what you're in the middle of, you get up, you get over to where you need to be, and you do your routine for 5 minutes, then you finish up, and then you go back to what you're doing. And it's a little frustrating if you're working on a longer form project. I was doing some reading of some data and articles earlier today, and like I was into an article, I was following the flow, and I was getting into what I was trying to get out of it, and like the alarm would go off, and I'd get up and I'd do my routine, and I'd come back, and I was like, okay, where was I? Okay, yeah, starting here, and all right, this was what we were looking at, and so this is where we go, and then you go a little ways further into it, and you feel like you're, just got started when the alarm goes off again, and you get up and you do it again, and you finish up your routine, and you get back, and you have to figure out where you were and get started going on it again, and then you finish up, and you're like, all right, so what was the next thing I was supposed to be doing? And then you start getting ready to start a new project, and the alarm goes off again. It's like, really, it's just annoying. And I feel like, I get where some of that's coming from, is just the adapting to taking into consideration a thing that I have to do at regular intervals. But what I will say is there's a way I can potentially hack that to be not only not an inconvenience, but also a potentially positive aspect. And that method for doing that is, it turns out that if you're studying or learning or trying to master a new skill or working on a product or a project or something like that, they found that your optimum time frame for mental focus and efficiency and creative energy is about 20 to 25 minutes. So if you do something for 20 to 25 minutes, they tell you to usually think about taking a break for about 5 minutes. Well, 5 minutes is how long a fitness routine is for what I'm working on. So if I get to a point where I can do small, simple routines throughout the day, every 25 minutes roughly for about 5 minutes, right now what I'm doing is every hour or every half hour. So if I do 25 minutes studying and then 5 minutes exercise routine, I could do the half hour routine. Now that's a certain level of intensity that I don't necessarily know that I need to do. But the other thing I want to look at doing is doing like the body weight exercises one time, and maybe a flexibility routine another time, and then maybe a cardio routine for another time. And so that case, I can do a higher number of reps in each set and do them fewer times during the day, but do different types of sets that benefit me physically. And so looking at those possibilities, that's sort of where I'm aiming to get eventually, so that I can end up being benefiting my learning and knowledge and creativity at the same time I'm benefiting my physical health, and doing it in a way that's optimal for each of them. And I'd like to get into that sort of routine. Now, what I'm looking at right now is I'm going to finish this week out, maybe do a couple supplementary exercises on, say, Monday and Tuesday. Sunday, or maybe Sunday and Monday. And then, well, Monday and Tuesday makes sense. Take Sunday off. And then Monday and Tuesday, right? So I have 4 tomorrow, and tomorrow's Friday, and then 2 on Saturday. And then take Sunday off, do Monday and Tuesday, and then I'm off to California, and then I'll be there from Wednesday till Monday, roughly. And I can start a fitness routine again on Monday. And what I'm hoping to do with that is get back on board with a second level of the current routine that I'm doing physically for a week. So a second week of this type of routine. And then at the end of that week, we start in on the 4 weeks of cardio focused routines. So I'll do 4 weeks of cardio routines. I'm not sure how I'm going to organize that one yet. I know I picked certain exercises that I could do, and my goal was to aim for an hour. I'm thinking what I might end up doing more of is taking the same pattern of exercises that I'm doing right now and just exchange cardio focused routines for the body weight routines that I'm doing, the calisthenics that I'm doing. And do that for 4 weeks and just see how that compares. And then switch back to what I'm doing right now for 3 to 4 weeks before. I think I have about 2 weeks where, so I might end up doing it for about 5 weeks. I have about 2 weeks between the end of cardio where I will be in the midst of no dietary differences. I will be eating my standard diet. So I'm going to do the carbs until the 27th, then switch back to my base eating pattern with a high cardiovascular routine. And that's for 4 weeks. And then when that ends, I will be doing my base diet and my base exercise routine before I pick up the keto diet that I'll end up doing. But I can still be doing my base exercise routine until about 3 weeks into the keto. So it's about 2 weeks between, and then 3 weeks, about 5 to 6 weeks of 5 to 6 weeks of doing the different methodologies that I'm doing. So I've got my diet and my exercise planned out for. That's a super productive and useful way to spend your time, to jump onto live chats and do whatever it is you think you're achieving with that. So thanks for joining us on that one. So the cardio routines that I'm looking to do and the dietary routines that I'm doing hopefully will not max out before that time frame. And then I'm doing the keto diet with the baseline routine that I'm doing right now. And then I start I think I decided I was doing a strength training. Anyway, so I've got those sort of figured out as where I'm going to go. I'm figured all the way out into my into December, and then I got to figure out a few things past that I'm going to potentially do for this category of content. My hope is to get to a point where it doesn't feel like an intrusion on my ability to work on other projects right now. Because what I'd really like to be doing right now is, I want to do the videos that I'm supposed to be updating daily now. And at the same time, doing my weekly projects while having the fitness one run in the background. But it feels like it's consuming so much of my daily right now that I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if it's just me needing to get used to it, or if it's legitimately just going to be this hard the whole time that I'm doing it. And as I pick up additional seasonal work coming into the winter time to get a little extra funds, it's going to be a harder thing to arrange the amount of time that I need to do the things that I end up doing. So, got to figure out where things fit in the schedule. But this is a project that I'm interested in doing and achieving. So, here's hoping that I actually manage to do all the things that I'm working on over the next 6 months. It feels like I can't believe we're halfway through the year already. So the fitness routine is really eating a lot of my focus right now, and I think I just need to get adapted to it, because it really isn't that much time, and it's just like it's to a certain degree healthier to get up every half hour to an hour and move around a little bit, and giving myself 5 minutes to do that shouldn't be as derailing as it currently feels. I just don't think I'm used to it yet. And then once I get there, I think it'll be viable for me to be able to go forward on future projects at the same time. And then what else do I got to do this month? This month is also National Novel Writing Month's Nano Camp, and I want to and have been looking at doing a fair amount of writing this month on the side. So somewhere between doing the videos for this next week, and then getting to VidCon, doing the exercise and dietary changes, and working on planning for the subsequent projects, and doing the writing, and applying to some seasonal work for some extra income. I feel like I'm spreading myself pretty thin right now, but I think there's a potential for me to be able to do a lot of it. I'm out of practice at doing this level of workload. I used to do this when I was younger, where I would do all of this and still be able to feel like I was having some time to sit down and relax. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm a little out of practice. I think I'm going to call it at about half an hour tonight, because I'm trying to keep up to date and up to speed with my fitness practice, and that one's every half hour today, and so I'm trying to keep on top of that so I don't have to fall back or make up any of the missed opportunities. So tomorrow is Friday. I may cover a little bit more of the recipes that I've been playing around with for this week's worth of content, but I feel like this week's worth of content feels like it came out as a wash just because I couldn't get things to work for me. I will get back on that and have something to discuss about the recipes that I came up with at the end of the week. And then next week is the video projects. And then I believe after that was to be writing. So right now we're doing diet. We did art already. We moved video projects and writing to the end of the month. So yeah, it's after this one is videos, and then it's I think fitness, and then writing is where I was going with that. All right. No, fitness was end of the month. Fitness was the 21st through the 27th. I'll have to go look at that schedule again. And then end of the month, finish out the set, and then start next month with a new writing project. But I mean, the National Novel Writing Month writing projects are not yeah, I was supposed to meet up with a friend tonight, and he was holding a party, but I guess he got frustrated with people not committing to show up, so he just canceled the whole thing. So I just spent my day working on my fitness routine and plotting some writing projects. I was a little worried that we maybe lost you at some point because I think I didn't see you last night, I don't think, but um, we had a new visitor last night, and they seem like an interesting person. He recommended I check out doing some stuff on Reddit, which I admit I have little experience with. I just haven't figured or mastered it yet. So trying to learn my way around some of that. It's part of that getting better at social media that I need to do. So I'm looking into trying to take care of that. And it's so hot here right now. I am tired of sweating so much. Yeah, seemed like an interesting person. I'm still trying to figure out, or at least get the right technique for saying hi and greeting when they wander in. We had somebody else join us tonight who had that wonderful, charming, witty thing they said up top there. I was probably not as polite as I could have been in telling him that it's not appreciated, but I I don't know who thinks that's a productive way to interact with other people. Like, I get maybe you're bored, but it's such a silly thing to do. It's like there are better ways to use one's time than to say stupid, potentially trying to be shocking. It's not even shocking. I don't know. So I'm going to be working on some planning for some writing tonight, work a little bit on figuring out the recipe stuff for Saturday that I'm going to detail, figure out what I'm doing with Tumblr, and then plotting out some of the finished edited videos for this week and planning the videos for next week, both edited and the pre-recorded video making videos. So that's sort of my plan for tonight. Otherwise, Have a happy 4th of July. I almost said Thanksgiving. Happy 4th of July. I'm going to go take care of some things. I'm going to turn on the AC, and then I'm going to take care of some things. Thanks for joining me. Take care and have a good night. Yeah.